Hi, good morning. So, continuing my Sandra makes, I think. Hello, welcome anyway. So, at the moment, we're on holiday. Rasha's here with me. You want to say hello, Rasha? So we're just out in the conservatory. So Neil's cooking us a late breakfast. We've just been for an early morning walk down on the beach. So we are on holiday in Hunstanton. And it is glorious. It's freezing cold, but we've had a fantastic morning. Anyway, we went out for also a walk last night, a little drive around and a quick walk up on the cliff end of Hunstanton. It was a beautiful evening. Neil lost his hat, or we thought he'd lost his hat anyway. And if you remember, I had started making a new winter hat for Neil because the other one turned out a little bit big. And I had nearly finished it, but with him losing his hat and it's so cold at the moment, I thought I'd crack on and finish the hat. And here is the finished hat. So I'm quite pleased. So I want to turn it around nice and quickly for him. And I tried something. So the basic hat is pretty standard. So I've got hair on there. One of Rashes, I think. It's fairly standard. So you've got the ribbed band at the bottom, so you can either turn it up or not as you wish. And then the main part of the hat, probably about 9 inches. Was a bit longer with the band turned up. So about 12 inches without the band turned up. And then to finish off the top, just tuck in, knit 5 stitches, knit 2 together, etc. And then the next round, knit 4, then knit 2 together, etc. And right to the end, and then just keep knitting 2 together till there's about 10 stitches left, and then gathered up the top. I mentioned in the previous clip, I did it on straight needles this time, because I'm in two minds about knitting hats on round needles. So it means that you can just keep knitting and you don't have to stop to do the purl side. But it can be a bit faffy, especially making the crown. And I think I probably prefer doing it on long straight needles in this case. And the other thing I learned in the summer when I went to my Norfolk crafting week was how to make quite neat seams. So I don't know, try and get against the light. So obviously because I did it in straight needles, I had to finish off the seam. So what the lady showed me on the crafting week was to from the inside, obviously, so she sewed it from this side. But if you go like zigzag across, so pick a couple of stitches at the edge from one side, zigzag over to the other, and sew it off like that, you get quite a neat seam. So yes, I'm quite pleased how that's turned out as well. And you'll see in the main Campsite Warden videos that it does fit Neil's head as opposed to the other one, which unfortunately turned out a bit too big. So I'll probably, I don't know, I might give that one away, so somebody else might have a bigger head who might appreciate a hat with a bigger head. And we have a local lady that does a Christmas fundraiser every year, so I'll probably donate that one for the Christmas fundraiser for local families. So at least Neil's got a hat. But having said all that, shh. The original hat did turn up, so I don't know why he thought he'd lost his hat, but he was convinced he'd lost either his glasses or his hat. Anyway, but I was planning to make this anyway, so it's all good. But it just cracked on and finished it for him. So quite pleased with that. And then while we're away, I will be doing more work on Woody, which I'm very excited about. So I've got all the project with me. I've just got a really, really small amount to finish on the Second World War II figure, which won't take long at all now. It's just literally a little bit of stitching together of all the pieces, the last few pieces. So the main thing now will be, hopefully, while I'm here, making some progress with Woody. So he's got one hand so far. can I make another hand to match, and can we get the arms done and see how it goes. I've even brought a stuffing just in case, being really optimistic that I might be ready to start stuffing fingers and hands and arms. Right, so that's my little update so far. Rash has absolutely pooped because we had a big long walk. Oh, it was a gorgeous morning. The tide was right in and the waves were crashing in. It was beautiful sunshine. That's Neil burning the bacon. I'll cook, he says. It's obviously going well. I'm sure it's fine. Fire alarms set off so easily, don't they? I managed to set one off at work recently. Oops. Anyway, yeah. Slightest bit of singe and off they go. And yeah, so Rasha is absolutely pooped. She snuck down at my feet. But yeah, she really enjoyed her walk. We just have to be careful that we don't take her for too long because her legs get tired and sore. She's an old lady. Proper old lady. We keep saying about 14, but we're not quite sure. But yeah, properly old anyway. Bless her. Right, more soon, but that's it for now. Sarah. Good morning. It's a fine sunny day and I'm not at work. Anyway, so Sandra makes. I've recorded quite a few things now over the videos of the last few months. One thing I haven't really spoken about is I do get regular requests from all the family, in fact, to help with repairs, alterations, mending pockets, ripped seams, shortening things, altering things. Anyway, so fortunately for me and the family, my mum, Barbara, did teach me to do sewing, and indeed when I was younger, when I had the time, I even like made my own pair of jeans and skirts and tops and all sorts of things. Don't really get time so much these days, but I still do the mend and repair work, which is, this is a good example. So Neil's got this lovely warm winter jacket, perfectly fine. However, he's managed to rip the seam under his arm. So a lot of people these days especially would just throw it away and buy another coat, but it's quite repairable. So yeah, where is it? There we go. So I started stitching last night. Hello, you can see. So I've stitched along here already as neatly as I can, but it is going to be under his armpit, so it doesn't matter too much as long as it doesn't keep ripping. So I've just got a little bit left there still to stitch up, and then it'll be as good as new. And then when I was looking last night to see where the hole was, I looked on the other side. And this is where it's lovely fabric, good quality coat, but the stitching is not so good. So unfortunately, I already repaired this side probably a year or two ago now. So my repairs held up very well, but whatever this was stitched with was probably not a good quality cotton, and it hasn't lasted, which is really a shame. Anyway, so that's the other thing that Sandra sort of makes broken things better. And we were speaking some while ago, me and Neil, about why do people not darn socks anymore. So sometimes like you just get a bit of a bare bit around the toe or something. So actually that's a fair point. So when I made my socks last year, I had some leftover wool, which is like a creamy colour that matched a creamy colour pair of normal socks. So I did give those a little darn, and I'm still wearing them. So always good to think about these things. Anyway, so that's the coat, and I wanted to give you a woody update. So where are we up to now? So I have my, I think anybody watching recently will know I do have a hand, and I've been researching what I need to do. So this is the first time I've done this, so it's a little bit slower at the moment. It's my first hand. And then this is my yellow, and that's going to join onto the wrist of the hand. And I'm going to start making the gauntlet over the arm. So there's like an arm for Woody, then there's a gauntlet over the hand part. So we're going to start on the inside and catch onto the stitches that are already there and start building that out, and then there'll be an extra layer for the gauntlet on the outside. So that's what I'm going to do next with that. But before I can start doing more stitching, so I have done, you see a dangly bit here, there was one or two bits that I hadn't got quite perfect, so rather than redoing the whole hand, I've just done a few little extra securing stitches. So that's looking pretty good now. I just need to finish that off, but we had to go out yesterday before I finished it, and then ready to carry on with the next bit. So, but before I do, I've got stuffing, and the stuffing will need to go into the hand to keep the shape of the hand. So I need something pointy, I think, to start getting that stuffing inside there. So it's going to be a bit fiddly, I think, but I'm ready to stuff, which is quite exciting. Yeah, so I'll get that all stuffed, and then I'm ready to build up the arm, and then I'll need to make a matching hand and arm for Woody. So that's where I'm up to with all of that. And now I'm just going to talk about something completely different and get ready for that. So bear with me a moment. So I'm wearing rubber gloves for a reason. Oh, we have a guest appearance.
What did you just say when you were filming a moment ago?
Which bit? I said quite a lot.
Those of a certain age will remember the saying, and now for something completely different, and where that comes from. Monty Python.
Okay, thank you, Neil. Indeed. So why am I wearing rubber gloves and why am I holding this green thing? Does anybody recognise this green thing? Because Neil and I were out for a walk yesterday, and we found quite a lot of these just falling on the ground where we were out exploring. And just Neil said, "What are they? Are they pears?" I said, "They're definitely not pears. Well, I'll be honest, I'm not actually sure what they are." And then Neil found some other ones on the ground and cut them open. Or broken open anyway, I think, naturally, and ended up with stained fingers, hence the gloves. So I will tell you what it is in a minute if you don't know, but I'm just going to cut one open so you can see what's inside. So the outer case is quite soft and squishy. Try not to cut my glove as well. I'll explain about the gloves in a moment. Wow. So it's quite a rich smell, actually. So it doesn't look very pretty at the moment. It's quite black inside. So one thing about this is the name of it is relating to the blackness. So the outer part was actually used for a stain back in the day for dyeing clothes and things before artificial dyes. I've just noticed this particular one's got an insect hole in it as well, so that it might be a bit diseased from the insect damage. I'll see if I can get the rest of the husk off. So clearly it's not a pear. But what is it? Does anybody recognise it yet? Let's get some of the outer pith off. So it's, yeah, so with the insect damage this may not be so good, but it's a bit of an odd shape. Anyway, it's basically a fresh walnut. So you can dry them out, and then if it is good inside, you can eat the flesh inside, and it's quite tasty. It's probably quite good for health as well. But this is the black walnuts, and it's not native to the UK, but there are a lot of them. I think they've been here since about the 1600s or something. There is an English walnut as well, but these are huge. So I don't know if they're always this big or it's just this year, but I have seen walnuts in the case before, but they were probably only about half of that size, so that's why I wasn't sure what it was. So now we know. But yeah, I didn't want black fingers, so hence the gloves. So I hope you found that interesting. Just a little bit of something different. So I think I mentioned previously I've finished Neil's hat. So I don't know if we've got any footage here of Neil wearing it. I'll just see if he'll pop it on for me so you can see the finished hat on the head it was intended for, shall we say. Just bear with me a moment. The man himself sporting the new hat, and it fits this time.
Those of a certain age, do you remember the TV programme Crossroads?
Benny. It's your Benny hat.
My very, very own Benny hat. What happened to Benny?
There we go. So Neil's got his own new hat, which I'm sure will get used, and I'll find a new home for the larger hat, as I mentioned earlier in the video. So why am I wearing these? So I got this beautiful, beautiful wool last year from Wainfleece Cottage in Wainfleet from the lovely Rachel, and I've got this gorgeous, this natural wool and everything. It's like gorgeous colours, and I made this hat in naalbinding stitch last year. So I love that because it's quite free flowing and you can get the shape so it just fits your head perfectly. So I've got quite a small head, so it's not always easy to get head coverings that fit. And then this was the basic plain naalbinding stitch. This was a stitch called Coptic stitch, which is a little bit more like knitting, but it's still knotting, not knitting, basically. So I've been wearing these a lot since we've been away and the weather's got colder. So just to show that I do actually use the things that I make. And there's something quite satisfying about wearing something that you've made yourself as well. I do quite like that. So it's a bit warm here at the moment. There's a lovely sunny morning, so I'm just going to pop those off again. Just wanted to show you those. So people that have been watching since last year will have seen me make these, but newer viewers perhaps haven't done, so you might want to go back and look at some previous videos where I was making those last year. So what are we on to next? So just a couple of thoughts. So I am on a short break from my day job, but I do have quite a lot of running around to do and catching up with family, a few personal things. So I hope I'll still get a reasonable amount done, but I'll have to see how it goes with time. But my main focus now, so I finished Neil's hat that he needed before the weather got cold, and I've finished my little World War II figures that I needed for this week for the local display. And so I'm very much now, my main focus is completing Woody, so I'm sure it'll get quicker. Thanks so much to Lucy for your patience all this time. I did warn Lucy it would be a slow burn for me because I do still have to work and have other things that I have to do as well. But anyway, that's my top focus now, is working on Woody, and I'll keep you updated with that, and hopefully a few other things. A few viewers mentioned they'd like to see a bit more cooking. I will be doing more cooking, but at the moment I'm having a little bit of a break. So I've had quite a bad excuse me, cold and chesty cough the last few days. I'm just taking it easy at the moment. So thanks for your patience with that. And as I mentioned, if you're still watching, thank you so much for staying with me this far. If you haven't found that yet, I do also have a little Sandra Makes and Bakes Facebook page, and I do sometimes put little updates and snippets on there in between the main weekly videos, so do pop over along there and have a look and say hello and have a chat if you would like to. I always enjoy reading your comments and different ideas for inspiration, so thank you for that. And as I was very touched, I had a couple of people now saying that they would be perhaps interested in buying some of my creations if I can make more things. So I'll definitely look into that going forward. So if you've got any specific requests, do get in touch. Although as I say, it will take me quite a while to complete the woody, because it's the first one I've done as well, but I'm really enjoying it so far. So thanks again to Lucy for the suggestion. So I'm going to wind up here and say hope you all have a lovely week, and I really look forward to seeing you on the next Sandra Makes and Bakes. So it normally goes out every Sunday evening, and thanks for watching, and see you all very soon. Ta-ra.